Well folks, this is it. This is the last video of the Rolls-Royce rebuild series. So in the last video we got everything prepped and painted, and I gotta say, everything turned out pretty good considering the fact that this car was sprayed outside right in my buddy's driveway. And I am happy to report that we got 0 bugs in the whole paint job and very minimum amount of dirt. And let me add that dirt is something that is very hard to get away from because you even get it in the controlled environment, like when you're spraying inside of a paint booth. So it's been a couple of days since I sprayed the car and now everything is put together. Well, for most part, you know, like the taillight is out, a couple of other things had been removed, but the day that I was spraying was really warm. I'd say it was probably about 85 degrees, and the hardener that I was using for this clear coat is fast, so meaning it's meant to be used in lower temperature. So when I shot my paint, it didn't have time to flow out before it started to set up. So I got a bit of orange peel on a quarter panel, and obviously on the door. It's not too bad, but I mean it's you know, it's still there because the original finish of the car is flat as glass because these cars are getting cut and buffed from the factory, so I'm trying to match that. So the fender, the door, quarter panel, and bumpers are getting cut and buffed. It's been a few days since everything got painted, and since then a fair amount of dirt has settled on the car's panels. So the first thing I always do before I start cutting and buffing is you want to wash the area that you will be working on, because if any of the larger pieces of dirt will get stuck between the clear coat and the sandpaper, they're gonna end up putting some deeper scratches into the finish, which will result in you having to do more work in the end, or it may even ruin your paint job. Alright, you're gonna start out with 1500 grit paper. Make sure you have plenty of water flowing onto the panel. This way it will make your sanding block slide along the panel effortlessly. And also the water will keep the sandpaper from getting clogged up. As you sand, there's really no need for you to be putting a lot of pressure on your sanding block. Just slight to medium pressure will do just fine. And you do want to stop sanding every now and then just to check on your progress. I usually use a smaller soft rubber sanding block to squeegee the water off the panel, and then I let the panel dry up. So basically, as I sand, I want to knock down all of the orange peel, and I want my finish to look nice and flat, just like in some of these areas. And then wherever you see dark bumps, that means those are my low spots, and I still have to work those areas some more until everything is nice and flat and uniform. So after 1500, I went ahead and followed up with 2000 grit paper, and then I finished off with 3000. Basically all it did was 2000 grit paper smooths out 1500 grit paper scratches, and 3000 does the same for 2000. So once I'm done sanding with 3000, you can see the reflection in some areas. So this way when I buff, it makes buffing that much easier rather than if I were just to start buffing right over 1500 grit paper scratches. So buffing is a 3-stage system. I first start out with the heavy cut pad, and it's a #1 pad, and also the buffing compound has a #1 on it. That will give you the heavy cut that will take care of most of the deep scratches. You always have to be careful around the corners and edges because you can burn through your clear coat real easy with your buffer wheel. So all you gotta do is very light pressure and lower the speed of your buffer whenever you hit corners or ridges or body lines anywhere. All right, so the first step is done, and it's looking really, really good. Although it looks good right now, if I were to put this car in the sun, you would see a lot of heavy swirls because this first step was a heavy cut, and now I'm going to use pad number 2 with polishing compound number 2. That will really polish up the finish. Step number 3 is basically a repeat of step number 2. It will take out all of the ultra fine scratches that a step number 2 left behind. And this step is a must for all of the dark colored vehicles. For anyone who's interested in cutting and buffing their own vehicle, I will leave the links to all of the materials necessary in the video description down below. So to sum things up, this car did come a long ways from where it was in the beginning. It was a fun project with its own set of challenges that just about anyone can overcome if they put their mind to it. I'm really pleased with the way the bodywork and paint turned out. This shot was taken about 3 to 4 days after the cut and buff process, so there is some dust on the surface, and none of it is in the paint. And if you guys are wondering about how much money my friend saved by having me fix the door and a quarter panel instead of having to buy a replacement door and a quarter panel skin. Here's an online Rolls-Royce parts catalog. So let's go ahead and start with the door. Alright, so if I click on the door itself, for some reason it's not giving me the price. I'm not sure what the deal is, but let's assume that the price of the front door is somewhat close to the price of the back door. Let's go ahead and look at the rear doors here. Alright. So the price of the door is $5,921. The tax in our state is about 10%, so that would make it about $590. So $590 plus $5,921 is roughly about $6,500. Now let's go ahead and see how much the quarter panel skin is going for. Alright, here it is. And it is $7,767. And with tax, it would come out to about $8,500. So $8,500 for the quarter panel skin plus $6,500 for the door. That puts us at $15,000. And that is an insane amount of money for just 2 body panels. Alright, let's go back. And I'm sure you guys will get a kick out of this. Let's go into the hood just to kind of see how much hoods are going for. How about $10,644? So add another $1,000 on top of that for tax and you're at about $11,700. That is crazy. So I guess if you can fix stuff like this instead of having to buy it, your skills will always be in demand. And here is a quick glimpse into our next project. This is definitely something different even for me. This is a 1948 Chevy 3100 Thriftmaster pickup truck. So if you guys want to follow this project along, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to click your bell notification. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll be seeing you in the next video here real soon.